If you graduate from university saddled with debt, you'll spend years paying it back when you're in the weakest position to do so. Following up on my last video on RESPs, I answer the question, is a university education worth it? How much can you save in an RESP? And more importantly, how much do you need? I'm Anna Hilbrey. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Is an education worth it? I'm going to bring up a chart from statcan showing various levels of education. The lower down you go on the chart, the lower the level of education generally. In light blue, it depicts total earnings 2 years after graduation, and in dark blue, total earnings 5 years after graduation. Now you will note that you are more likely to earn more money right out of school with a higher level of education. And not only that, the further that time goes on, the more that earning potential tends to increase. Another interesting point that I wanted to make was that you are most likely to make the most money in a professional degree as opposed to conducting research, although both jobs appear to be well rewarded for the effort that is put out in getting that education. So is an education worth it? It absolutely is. So how much is that education going to cost you? It depends on two things. Number one, where are you going to study? And number two, what are you going to study? The least expensive education by far can be had in Newfoundland and Labrador. And the most expensive education by far, way up here, is Ontario. What about what should you study and how much is it going to cost you? Well, remember earlier in that StatsCan chart when I said that professional degrees were most likely to earn you the highest earning potential later on in life. Well, they also happen to cost you the most money. I'm going to bring up another StatsCan chart depicting different educations and the various tuitions associated with it. Now, the most expensive was dentistry at a whopping $21,717 a year average tuition, followed by medicine at $14,162, and then law at $12,388, and optometry at $11,236 a year. That is a lot of money. How much can you expect to earn 5 years after graduation? Any one of those professional degrees will earn you on average about $94,000 a year, so pretty good income. And that's just 5 years out of school. As we all know, that income tends to increase over time, versus a college certificate will earn you about $38,000 a year. So it really is worth it to get an education and to get a higher level of education. But there's one thing that this chart doesn't mention, and that is passion. You have to love what you do. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you're not happy, money isn't going to get it for you. So now that we know an education is worth it, can you save enough money in that RESP to help support your child or the beneficiary in their future education? If you need a review of all the details of an RESP and how they work, check out my previous video. Let's go through it now. So if you set aside $2,500 from the first birthday up until the 20th birthday of the child, you will have put aside the maximum $50,000 per beneficiary that you can put into a RESP. You will have received $7,200 in grants. And if you earn a very reasonable 4% rate of return, you will have a total amount of money at the 20th birthday of the child of $86,000 total savings. So that is more than enough for most degrees, unless of course you choose to study dentistry and you go to Ontario. But even for dentistry, that should be enough for the basic tuition amounts. It just won't cover living costs. So get out there and start using those RESPs. They are definitely worthwhile. What an amazing gift to give our youth. Think of how life-changing this could be. You are empowering the beneficiary to live a better life. That's meaningful. I'm Anna Hilbrey. Thank you so much for listening.